Alison. Thank you for joining me for your October 2015 forecast for the month. And thank you so much for choosing me to read for you and for your donations. I wanted to say that I have a donation button on my website, not because I had designed it that way, but I was approached via email by a woman who lives in a beautiful city called Manchester by the Sea, and she had asked me to create a donation button because she didn't require a reading. She just wanted to donate to my channel, and I just am so inspired by the gratitude of her, so I wanted to thank her for that idea and for her donations as well as other people's. And I wanted to thank you as well for sharing and liking and supporting this YouTube channel and my Facebook page, Audrey Alison, Astrology and Tarot. Let's get to it. October has some super magical energy to it. It's really inspired by Jupiter and your first and ninth house in astrology. But let's start the top of the month with Venus, who is finally exiting Leo on the 8th of October, where she has been for 4 months, including a retrograde stay in that sector. And she enters Virgo on the 8th through November 8th. And this will impact the ninth house of foreign travel, the ninth house of higher learning and education and certification, and your belief systems, and metaphysical, spirituality, deep-seated knowledge. Venus is love, and Venus is money. So she could provide some financial support in the ninth house of foreign travel, or for those of you who are just absorbing a lot of information and doing a tremendous amount of reading and learning, Venus is there smoothing this over for you. On the 9th of October, Mercury goes direct at 0 degrees of Libra. He doesn't officially clear his shadow until the evening of the 23rd of October, and clearing his shadow is at the 15-degree mark in which he retrograded. So yes, he officially goes direct in your 10th house of career on the 9th, but the official clear date is the 24th of October. Now, Mercury direct in the 10th house will help the title in work, will help the recognition you deserve in career, will help the retirement if you're heading that direction. But this is the highest realm on the astrological wheel. Capricorn, you naturally govern the 10th house on the solar wheel. But right now, Mercury stationed there in Libra. More communications regarding work, more clarity in understanding your position in your career, and becoming your own authority, the 10th house of the authority. On the 11th, there's an aspect I wanted to talk about, and it is that Jupiter trines Pluto at an exact 13 degrees through the end of the month. This energy will remain, and including a little bit of November. But Jupiter is stationed in Virgo, and Pluto is stationed in your first house of Capricorn. So this trine, thankfully, is relieving some of that Plutonian energy that has been in your first house for years. So this trine affects the first house of self and body, and the ninth house of education and higher knowledge, and this desire to learn, the overwhelming energy to expand the knowledge. Jupiter in your ninth house, it makes you crave, you eat books instead of sandwiches is what's happening here. And they're such a great source of protein, so have at it. Venus and Mars are also in Virgo, conjunct Jupiter. Bear with me because Mercury, my ruling planet, is retrograde as I'm recording these on September 18th, so I'm kind of biting my words a little bit, but I'll get through the forecast. Okay, so Venus and Mars are conjunct Jupiter in Virgo in this ninth house of knowledge. So you are really requiring to elevate the consciousness, the awareness at this time, Capricorn, more so than any other sign. I feel that you have the faith and the optimism, that which is Jupiter, probing you to expand your belief system and to not to challenge, because a trine is not a square, which would be challenging you and giving you lessons here, but it's harmoniously instigating with Mars, the instigator, that you accomplish more in this area than you probably ever have. Now, on the 12th, the following day, the new moon at 19 degrees of Libra will be conjunct Mercury in this 10th house of career and recognition. So, new beginnings in the career sector for Capricorn. And conjunct Mercury, that is direct, will be new clients, a lot of contacts, information coming in, new clients, new awareness in the 10th. Set your intentions for those of you wanting to receive elevation in the career sector. Perfect new moon for a new career entirely, or for new energy filtering through that sector for you at that time. On the 15th and 16th, Mars joins Jupiter at an exact 13 degrees in Virgo, trining Pluto in your first house. So it's that first and ninth house energy. Capricorns are learning through that Plutonian energy. Mars and Jupiter have a running theme together this month. Following on the 17th, they're now at an exact 14 degrees together, trining Pluto. So they are tongue-in-cheek. Mars is the younger, hyperactive brother or cousin that is like pulling at Jupiter's jovial Santa Claus beard, going, hey man, we've got to expand this sector. You work your magic, bring on your luck, bring on the charm, bring on the faith and optimism. I'm here to expedite things. I'm here at a rapid pace giving you stamina, energy, drive, and ambition. So these two very masculine planets, one working at a very slow, ho, take your time pace, and Mars like really wanting Jupiter to work his magic. So Mars is like the elves, and Jupiter is Santa Claus. And I love it because it's trining the more serious, darker realms of that Pluto energy that's in your first house of intensity, of self causing intensity. So you need this reprieve. A trine will give you some reprieve from the darkness that has been stationed in Capricorn, because you can't help feel the darkness with Pluto there. He's the furthest guy away from us. Some people claim he's not even a planet anymore. He's just a little dwarf. He's so cold and distant. But I give him props where props are due. I'm not a firm believer in giving something a title and taking it away. So that planet has been influencing you, Capricorn. And this trine gives you some reprieve with that. On the 19th, the moon joins Pluto. The moon will be in Capricorn. Now the moon is our quickest transit. Every 2.5 days, 2 to 3 days, technically, the moon transits each a sign. So when the moon hits Capricorn, he's conjunct Pluto on the 19th at 13 degrees, trining Mars at 15 degrees of Virgo, Jupiter at 14 degrees of Virgo, and Venus at 9 degrees of Virgo. So it's about the earth signs, babies. It is about stability and grounding effect, grounding energy. It's also about intuition with the moon entering your first house of self. Intuition mixed with intensity, being guided, heeding your instinctual energy. On the 23rd, the sun enters Scorpio every year. This is impacting your social sector, the 11th house of friendships, but it's also the 11th house of goals and hopes and wishes and social clubs and sectors and organizations and groups that you're affiliated with, your tribes. But when the sun enters Scorpio, it will ignite Pisces, who's stationed in Neptune shortly after at 8 degrees. So then we're starting a water trine. So we've got some earth trine energy this month, grounding us, planting seeds of intention. And then we have the watery psychic realms of the water trine that's about to impact us. On the 27th, our full moon is a supermoon, and which means it's closest to the earth in direct alignment of the sun and the earth. We won't have another supermoon until April of 2016, and that will be a new moon. So this is a full supermoon, which is gorgeous. The pictures are going to be all over Facebook. I can just already see it. Everyone's an astrologer when there's a supermoon. The full moon will be at 3 degrees of Taurus. So the moon transiting quickly every 2.5 days or so ignites and creates a grand Earth trine. The moon in Taurus, Virgo, Mars, and Jupiter in Virgo, and Pluto in Capricorn. There's your trine. The first house, where you hold Cap, the solar Cap. Please watch your ascendant signs. They are super accurate for the transits, especially to the degrees in which I'm speaking of. The first house, 5th house, and 9th house is your trine. First house of self, body, physical self, ego. The 5th house of creativity, entrepreneurs, romance, children, fun, leisure, pleasure, risk-taking, gambling. And the 9th house of foreign study, foreign travel, higher awareness, belief systems and certification and philosophy and the law and religion. All these topics are of prevalence to you, Capricorn. So much so that it might be overwhelming or overbearing for yourself or others to even deal with. So now I wanted to talk about the last day of the month. Happy Halloween, happy Samhain, whatever you're into, 31st. So we skip the Earth trine and go right to a grand water trine, because that moon that transits as quickly as I mentioned will enter Cancer, igniting the water realms with Pisces and Neptune, or Neptune and Pisces, and the sun that entered Scorpio. So you have the nebulous, psychic, watery, dreamy realm ending the day of Halloween, the day that the veil is the thinnest between planes, between energies. Between the 7th, 11th, and 3rd house, 7th house of marriage, commitment, soulmate, partnerships, the house of the others, the house of hidden enemies, the house of business partnerships, the 11th house of friendships and connections and your goals and your wishes, and your 3rd house of how you're communicating with all of them, your local areas, your siblings and neighborhoods, your 3rd house of the vehicle. It's your communication style and how you are speaking to the 7th house of partners and the 11th house of friends, and what you hope to see in this nebulous, dreamy energy. The chimes are going off. They're loving it. Now, I am using the Rider-Waite tarot deck that I retrieved from the French Quarter. Just a simple crisscross design on the back, but I am paying homage in my readings to the illustrator of this deck that does not get enough credit. Her name is Pamela Coleman Smith. And usually when people say the Rider-Waite tarot deck, if you're a reader, you have a Rider-Waite deck. It's one of the original decks created in the 1800s. But Pamela doesn't get her credit and the service and the credit that she's due. And if you've watched any of the other videos, you see I get very emotional telling her story. Because ironically, I did not realize that today, as I record these, is the day of her death on September 18th, 1951. So it touched me so much, and her story is so real and raw to me that I'm going to take a few minutes and give her the respect that she is so due. This is her picture. Pamela Coleman Smith was born in England on February 16th, 1878, and she spent most of her life traveling in between London, England, Brooklyn, New York, where she studied at the Pratt Institute of Brooklyn of Artistry and studied theater, and Kingston, Jamaica, where she got her flavor and her wild sense of color and artistry. She was called upon by Arthur Waite in 1903 or 1909 to become a member of the Order of the Golden Dawn. And he asked her to depict 78 cards that he wanted to describe verbally to her and as she drew them. Now, you might know the Order of the Golden Dawn is mostly known from the energy of Aleister Crowley and the mysticisms of the world. A lot of healers, I'm sure my soul comes through that time as well at some point, and if you were into or had any type of skill or talent or ability to channel and were an artist as well, that was a calling of yours. The Order of the Golden Dawn was a huge force for mystics in the early 1900s when they were considered outcasts. So I wanted to read a little bit of this excerpt about Pamela because it touched me so much, and I'm sharing these in every reading. So in 1909, under the guidance of Arthur Waite, she undertook for a token payment a series of 78 allegorical paintings described by Waite. And it was rectified as the Tarot Pack. The designs were published in the same year by William Ryder and Son. It's where they get Ryder and Waite. They exemplify the mysticism, ritual, imagination, fantasy, and deep emotions of the artist. Despite her occasional art shows and favorable reviews by critics, she continued very slow sales of her works and received many rejections by commercial publishers, and that left her very deeply disappointed. She never married. She had no children, and she had no known heirs except for an elderly female companion who shared her flat in London. She died on September 18, 1951, penniless and obscure. There was no funeral procession to honor her life. There was no memorial service to touch upon the impact of her work, the work that would one day have upon her admirers. She died disappointed that her paintings and writings failed to achieve success, yet she never stopped believing in herself. I feel like that's more of an assumption on their part, unless there's a written statement somewhere where Pamela says, "I am disappointed," on her deathbed. But in my heart right now, I know she's very happy that her story is being told, especially since today is the day she passed, and I didn't have any idea. The first video I recorded, Aries, you could see my face trip out that I realized today was September 18th. Let me continue. Pamela Coleman Smith would all but be forgotten except for the 78 tarot paintings known as the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. She would no doubt be astonished and gladdened to know that today the deck touches the hearts and emotions of millions of people. So this is for Pamela. I'll be using the Rider-Waite deck. I got this out of the French Quarter. I was like, yes, you're coming home. So let's see what the message for Capricorn is for October. And as usual, if you'd like to read with me, I'm at audreyalison.com. And I also have a radio show coming up again. I'm a special guest on October 15th for the Goddess Alive radio show, where I will be taking callers for free, tarot tasters, giving some advice to people who need it. Oh, hi, squirrel. Like Alice in Wonderland and Snow White out here. So there'll be more information October regarding the Goddess Alive radio show that I will be on. Here are your cards, Capricorn, for October. The Seven of Wands. This is a lot of determination and fire energy. This has a lot to do with Mars when he hits Jupiter in Virgo for you. There's a lot of stamina and balance required with this card. As much as you progress, you need to remain still and balanced. There's a lot of competition around you right now. And I'm going to say this in this reading. Now, this will make 3 readings, but this is a theme that I need to talk about because I hear it, and when I hear it, I'm just going to be real with you guys. I'm going to say it. I'm genuine in these forecasts, and none of this is planned. But thoroughbreds don't run races with fillies, okay? So if there's competition around you, that's only in your mind. You don't really compete with anyone but yourself. So keep that in mind when it comes to artistry and people wanting to receive more clients or recognition, there really is no competition. You're a thoroughbred. Okay. Ooh, lovely. Four of Wands. This is relationship. It's also marriage, bride and groom. It's commitment. It's monogamy. It's ceremony. It could be attending a wedding. It could be your own wedding. Now, your 7th house in the water trine is impacted. Very last day, though, of October. So we'll keep this aside. We'll see what else comes up. There's a few other cards. 5 of Swords. This definitely is competition. There might be some energy around you where you might feel threatened by someone else or comparing yourself to others. Comparing the knowledge that you're gaining so much of, Capricorn, as you might distance yourself from society and stupidity, I'm hearing. That's funny. How arrogant, but you know, that's so Capricorn because you rule the 10th house, and that is the highest point on the astrological wheel, closest to the midheaven. Capricorns don't tolerate naivete or stupidity very well, and you can tend to be very judgmental. So you might be this critic. You might be harsh on the people that are around you. Hey, that's okay. Pluto's with you. That is a harsh planet. Now, the Ace of Swords, positive thinking, beautiful intention, wise intention, wisdom, downloading information, channeling, being clear of thoughts, being clear of your thoughts and clear thinking, not imbibing too much alcohol at this time. Clear judgments, good judge of character. Capricorn, you're coming off as the mountain goat that you are. You're at the top of the mountain looking down at the rest of us. Just remember, as smart as you can be and as aware, you don't want to miss out on too many relationships around you because there are people coming to you from a place of love and a place of passion. And it might be time to show compassion and be passionate. Even if you're absorbed in that book too much, the 9th house of learning and study and travel, if you're distancing yourself too much, you might ignore the potential for relationship around you at this time. That is my advice in this mini tarot spread. To get a private reading for you, you can reach me at audreyalison.com. And remember, the sky is limitless, Capricorn, so reach for the stars.